Today on the grid, we're taking on the Adobe haters. My co-host, as always, is the real man, Candyman, Rocket Man, Frying Pan. He drives a van. It's not a Dodge Ram. Yep, it's Erik Kuna. He's here back on the set today. I've got a very cool, unexpected giveaway, and it all starts in just 62 seconds.
Grid is brought to you by Tamron. Check out their 28 to 75 millimeter f2.8 lens. It's for Sony full frame mirrorless. It's awesome. Go to tamron-usa.com.
And ProPhoto, the light shaping company. Check out the ProPhoto B1X, powered all the right places. Go to prophoto.com/US.
And Platypod, the tripod alternative that is changing the world. Everybody has a Platypod. You should too. Go to platypod.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to another live episode of The Grid. I'm Scott Kelby, joined by, as always, Mr. Erik Kuna, except for when he's not here shooting rockets.
Yep.
Mr. Kuna, how are you, sir?
Great.
I say that like I haven't seen you. We just had lunch, but you know.
Getting ready for one.
Getting ready for rocket launch? What do you got?
Yes. We got one that's coming up this weekend. We're actually going to be shooting stuff for Kelby 1. We're going to show people how to do the rocket streaks and other telephoto shots.
We're sending a crew over. Erik got all kinds of special cool things to get
that should be really cool.
Access. So that's going to be kind of cool. I know a lot of people will be excited to see that. Today we are taking on the Adobe haters. Yeah. So this is all based on. We kind of started this topic in a semi way, talking about Capture One a few weeks ago.
And this is like an ongoing rolling. It's a rolling topic, right?
Yeah, and it's rolling on Petapixel, where it seems to happen a lot. And this article just caught my eye. I actually did a little screen.
I've seen it on F-stoppers as well. That gets over there.
I did a little screen capture, and here it is. Adobe, this is why photographers are hating on you. Now, when I see a headline like that, I'm like, photographers are hating on Adobe? But then I do want to show you this. I made this screen capture right before the show. So here is this giant thing where it says that this is why photographers are hating on you. But to the right, there's the Adobe ad. It's like, we're okay to take Adobe's money and slam them at the same time. I mean, it's just total luck that would be there.
Yeah, I mean,
but
that's a Google ad. Yeah.
It's being served through. Yeah, but anyway, it was
probably because the article is selling a lot of Adobe products, because when you read the article.
And it's a bit ironic. Yes. But so anyway, I saw this topic, and the Adam Marsh is the author of the article, and he goes through and he says a lot of things, and I'm reading this and I'm going, here's what it is, and I'll tell you why I wanted to do this topic today.
You did the head turn there.
You know what it is? He quotes a lot of things and says a lot of things as if they are fact. Like he's talked to Adobe and he's got the numbers, or he's got. But it's really more like
it's conjecture.
He's talked to his friends, and some of his friends say this, so everyone's doing that. Like he's talking about there's a mass exodus from Premiere Pro, and I'm like, did Adobe show you their numbers of a mass exodus?
Yeah.
Like
because you have noted the truth's somewhere in between, right?
I don't even think it's in between.
I think I would say more with that one. That the truth's somewhere in between. I think there has been some people that are starting to go to DaVinci.
Wait. Some people is way different than a mass exodus.
A mass exodus.
So a mass exodus is when you
that's
read
what I'm saying.
about
Somewhere in between.
Adobe's a public company. They can't hide a lot. When you're a public company, you have to say a number. Now, if you read in Adobe's
you have to report earnings,
if you read in Adobe's statement, we took a loss this quarter, and it's based on a number of our users leaving the Creative Cloud, for leaving Premiere Pro and closing their subscriptions to go to this free product. Then you could go, guys, mass exodus. He has no stats, no proof. It's just conjecture. It's just like, I talked to some friends and they're leaving, so everybody must be leaving. It's like what we talked about on Capture One. These same 7 guys keep going around and posting, hey, I just left Lightroom for Capture One and it's so great. And you're like, it's the same 7 guys running around from blog to blog. And after a while you start to think, well, gosh, everybody's leaving Capture One. But of course, that's not the case. How do you know that's not the case? Because there are statistics. If you call up Adobe, I talk to Adobe on a regular basis. Oh, and that reminds me of something I want to tell you. So anytime that you, in our case, we're taking on the Adobe haters, right? You'll have somebody that go, oh, well, Scott's an Adobe fanboy. I think that I'm actually exactly the opposite. I think that I am a thorn in Adobe's side. If you read Lightroom,
it's usually us saying to Adobe, like, why aren't you doing this?
yeah,
Why aren't you doing this?
all I do is give them crap. If you were to read, for example, my editor's note in either Photoshop User Magazine or especially in Lightroom Magazine, I call out Adobe on everything. I am on their butt like you can't believe it. I have to imagine, I've said this before, that if I were to call like Sharid or Tom Hogarty or somebody on the Lightroom team and they see my number on their phone, they're not like, oh, great, let's talk to Scott. They're like, oh, crap, what's he whining about now? Because all I do is call them out for products that I don't think are right, features that are missing, problems. I mean, all I ever do is complain. And the reason I'm complaining is because I represent a large community of Lightroom users.
The people that you hear back from. I mean, it's not only on your blog, but when you're out on tour. I know when you're out on tour, I've seen it. People come up constantly and they're like, hey, why doesn't Lightroom do this? Why doesn't Photoshop do this?
Yeah.
And a lot of those changes that went in, like those just do it, changes, like those are coming from people that come up to you and just go, like, you hear constantly this same thing over and over and over.
I pass them on to Adobe. I do little screen capture movies, and I go, hey, a lot of people have been asking about this. If you could change this one thing, and you know what, son of a gun, some of those things get changed. So to Adobe's credit, they listen. But Adobe doesn't think of me as their cheerleader. Adobe thinks of me as the thorn in their side. I'm not a fanboy. I'm a thorn boy. And I'm sure that drives them crazy. So when I am taking Adobe's side today, it is in the context of this article, because obviously sometimes I'm on the other side of this coin where I'm giving Adobe crap. So today, though, when I read this guy's article, there was a couple of things that really stood out to me. And it's one thing in particular. Now, again, he is saying this as it's fact, just like he was saying that there's a mass exodus of Premiere users. There is a free program. Don't show that yet. I'm still talking about the other thing. And also, wait till I go full screen. There's a program called DaVinci. What's it called?
DaVinci Resolve.
There we go. DaVinci Resolve. It's a free program made by a company that's selling hardware, and they wanted to create this software to complement it. And it's free, Blackmagic. And it's free, and it's really good software.
And they bought it from another company.
Let me ask you a question. Is it as good as Premiere Pro?
No, I've used it.
It's good, though.
It's good. No, it's good.
It's good. It's good, and it's free, and that's good.
And that's going to be a theme here. It's good.
It's good.
Yeah.
But it's not as full-featured, but it's good.
And you could do almost anything that you wanted to in it,
right?
But you're going to have to fight with it at first for a while.
Right. And I haven't seen anyone release numbers that says there's a mass exodus from Adobe of people leaving to use this. Now, that there may be people that are doing it. You may know people. I may know people.
Yeah.
Erik used it. He didn't. He still. What's your main program for editing? Would be Premiere Pro. But you used DaVinci.
Yeah.
And you thought it was pretty decent.
It's pretty decent, yeah.
Okay.
And they do have a paid version, which is what they're really wanting to sell you. But, at the end of the day, it's a pretty decent, it's a decent program. I mean, and the paid version is $300, which, that's about the price of what it is for a year. And then are you going to be using old software after a few years?
All right. Yeah. But here's the quote that said, all right, we got to talk about this on the grid. Take a look. Now you can show my screen. The biggest reason why Adobe has gone to a subscription pricing is to milk the customer for every last dollar over the long term. And here's why I want to talk about this. Because I actually know the reason why Adobe went to subscription pricing, and it was not to milk the customer for every last dollar. So before we get to exactly why I know this, I do want to say this. I get to talk to Adobe on a reasonable basis. I go out to their headquarters, either in San Francisco or in San Jose. I've been there dozens and dozens of times. I know a lot of people that work at Adobe, all the way up to the top. If you were to meet these same people, you would find out that the executives at Adobe, the people on the Lightroom team, the people on the Photoshop team, they're not a bunch of evil, like old Monopoly guys.
Yeah, like,
how can we show our customers? They are regular people just like you and me who sit in rooms like this and sit there and go, all right, how are we going to make the next version great? They never say, I've never been in a room full of Lightroom engineers that said, how can we soak our customers? All the people that work on those products want to do is to make it great. That is really all they want to do. And it's not a bunch of evil people. It's a bunch of young, all younger than me, people that are really jazzed and really excited, and they love Photoshop and they love Lightroom and they're thrilled about it. And they get frustrated when they can't get stuff done, and they get frustrated when certain things aren't the way they want it to be. And they're very frank with me. We sit around and we have dinners and we talk, and they're just these are people that you would want to hang out with and party with and be friends with. These are not a bunch of jerks.
Well, and they really care about the product. I mean,
They really care about the product. So you have to divorce yourself, first off, from Adobe marketing and Adobe engineering and the Lightroomers and the Photoshop teams and all. The Lightroom and Photoshop team have one goal. They are trying to design great software. They want to kick everybody's butt. They want to do stuff no one's ever done. They get excited when they can do really cool stuff. And at the heart of this, in the heart of Photoshop, at the heart of Lightroom, is still Thomas Knoll, the guy that wrote Photoshop in a weekend at college. Is still the guy that writes Camera Raw and writes the Lightroom Develop module. He still has his hands in Photoshop and in Lightroom every single day. He's still an Adobe employee after all these years. And these people, if you met them, you would be really happy on one side that they're really cool, regular people that have families and jobs and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, you'd be disappointed because you'd like to think of Adobe as that old man in Monopoly. How can we get like Mr. Burns? Like you think Mr. Burns from The Simpsons.
That usually happens with successful companies when they're very successful. But going back, let's rewind it to where you were going. Is
Yes.
So why
I know why they went to subscription model, and it's not what you think. Because I had a friend of mine. Unfortunately, he doesn't work at Adobe anymore. But when this was all going down, and I'm out in at this time it was at San Jose having meetings about we're going to go subscription based. Now, you got to realize, at the time this happened, I was the president of the National Association of Photoshop Professionals, and I know how this is going to go over with our members. And so I'm out there, and I'm like shooting off rockets and waving flags and whoa, 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 whoa. And a friend, we're at lunch, and he's like, I'm going to tell you straight why we're doing it. I know you think, you have your reasons why we're doing it, but he says, I'm going to just tell you straight up, just guy to guy. I'm not giving away any big secret, because when I tell you, you're going to go, yeah, that makes sense, is the actual reason why Adobe had to do it. And they looked, and he's like, right, and this is a friend. So this is a guy that I've been friends with for years, and he can speak very frankly to me. He's not speaking as an Adobe executive. In fact, he wasn't an Adobe executive. But he's like, look, it's because of Apple. The reason why we absolutely positively had to switch, or will have to switch to a subscription model, is Apple changed the world's idea of what an app costs.
Yeah, the pricing structure.
The pricing structure. At that time, while I'm sitting there at lunch with him, Photoshop was $799 and Lightroom was $300.
Yeah.
So to get Photoshop and Lightroom,
the Creative Cloud was like thousands, $3,000.
The master, I have it written down here. The Master Collection, the Adobe Master Collection, to get what is now the Creative Cloud subscription, the Master Collection was $2,599, $2,600 to buy it. You had to write a check. Erik was talking to me at lunch because we were talking about the show today. Erik was saying when he wanted to buy Final Cut Pro,
I had to get out a loan buy this stuff.
He took a loan. He had to go to the bank and get a loan
because it was expensive to get this stuff.
And what he's telling me was this, and when he said it, I knew it was true. He said, Scott, the days of Adobe selling $800 software are over. He said it would be the end of Adobe. If we don't switch to a subscription model, he goes, people aren't going to spend $700. He goes, Apple has taught the world that an app is $4.99. Like a really good app is $4.99. And you can get good apps. We have apps and you have apps right now on your phone that are $1.99 or 99 cents that you're like, this app is incredible.
Oh, Photo Pills. I've spent, I think, $2.99 when I got that. I mean,
$2.99.
This thing is like unbelievable.
Right.
And now it's like $10. Yeah.
Okay, but listen to this. He said, people are, it would be the end of Adobe. They're not going to pay $790. We've got to find a way to get Photoshop and Lightroom and Premiere and all this stuff down to what the public thinks now an app goes for. And I'll tell you, this is a true story. The other day, I was at NAMM. I was at the NAMM conference. It's a music gear conference out in LA or Anaheim. I'm there with my buddy. He tells me about an application called Anytune, Anytune. And what it allows you to do, he's a guitar player, I'm a guitar player, we're at a guitar event, right? So, oh, by the way, shout out to Norman's. I bought this while I was out there. Norman's Rare Guitars, one of the greatest guitar stores anywhere in the whole world. We're out there. And he says, dude, you got to get this amp. It's called Anytune. What it is you launch the app, and it has an iPhone component, but you have to buy, I guess, the desktop to get the iPhone component. He goes, you get it, and it allows you to slow a song down without changing its pitch. Because normally if you slow the speed of something down, like if someone's talking like this and you slow it down, your voice starts to get low. Well, he goes, for picking out guitar solos, he can slow it down to half speed and it's the same notes or less. I can change it to whatever he wants and it maintains so you can play along with it and it doesn't sound funky. It sounds right. It's just slower so you can learn fast guitar parts. I'm like, he showed me a demo? Dude, I'm sold. I go to the App Store. True story. I go to the App Store. He's sitting right beside me. We're in our hotel room, sitting right beside me. And I go, dude, it's $34. He's like, yeah, it's expensive. I'm like, dude, it's $34. It hit me. When was the last time I spent $34 on an app? $34 now sounds like a crazy amount of money for an app. Do you know why? Because Apple changed the licensing model in everyone's head to where $34 now seems like a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, back in the day, $34 was like nothing.
Right. And that's what's crazy about it. So there are three things. I've just told you the first one, the very first one, which is so there's three parts of this puzzle. These are all things that he told me while we're having lunch. But the first one was Apple has changed the subscription model, and if Adobe is going to stay in business, he said we're not going to be able to sell a $900 piece, $800, $900 piece of software. And I realized at that moment, he's absolutely right. In my mind, even to this day in 2020, $34 for an app? And I sat there for a long time thinking, am I really going to use this? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to use it. But do I really need that? Because I can go to YouTube and slow it down, and yeah, I know it's kind of funky, and I finally bought it. That has got to be the most I've spent on an app in I don't know how long. Now, when we come back, I'm going to give you the other two things that he told me that are important. But before we do that, I want to mention I got a giveaway today that is very unusual. I'm giving away,
I think everybody can see it too,
a guitar amp. This is a really very cool guitar amp. Okay, it is called a Jam Box by Vox. You can see it's Vox, right? And what it is, there's a software plug-in that comes with it. And this sits on your desk. It plugs in via just a regular USB port, so it's powered off a USB. And I have a brand new, fresh USB. This was mine. This is from my house. I used it. I loved it. But it is in absolute factory condition. It's like you just bought it. Here's the cable that comes with it. I'm going to give you both of these. And what it is, you get this little software, and the software has a bunch of guitar sounds in it. And it's got two speakers with a little stereo amp. It sounds amazing. I just have so many of these that I realized I should give one away. So this is my own personal Jam Vox. You will love it. Go download the software to play along with it. You don't have to. You can just, but it is a very, very cool guitar amplifier. And you're thinking, well, Scott, I'm a photographer. I know, but a lot of you are guitar players. I know that because I talk to you all the time. So
if you are a guitar player,
here's what you got to do.
Guitar player.
At some point in there, leave us a comment, because you win by leaving a comment. Leave a comment and just put the word guitar in there, and then you're entered for the guitar. Because I don't want to send this to someone that doesn't play guitar. But if you play guitar, you'll put this on your desk at home or office. You will love this thing like you can't believe. It is. I even bought this as a gift for folks. Right? I literally, because it's like, no, it's not expensive. It's not inexpensive. It's kind of, anyway, you'll love it, and you can win it for free today, and it's like new, and it's my own, so I'm going to miss it, but it needs a good home. I'm also giving away, and I'm not, by me I mean us, a Platypod Ultra.
Yeah.
Greatest thing. So I did an interview today. So Scott Eccleston had a photography podcast. He had me on today, and he said if you had to choose one accessory, what would it be? I said, hands down, Platypod Ultra. I explained what it was. You're going to see an ad for it in just a second. They're one of our sponsors, and they're kind enough to give us one of these. We're giving away this.
And they have the Platyball, their Kickstarter still going on. And they got 39 days left, and they're up to 343,000.
$343,000. Is that crazy?
Yeah, they started off wanting 18,000.
They wanted. So look at it. Pledged goal of 18,000. They have funded their goal by 2,000%.
Yes.
So anyway, congratulations to the folks at Platyball. But go check it out. Go to Kickstarter and just do a search for Platyball. So it's not a platypod. There's one in the picture, but it's a Platyball, and it is. They have turned the ball head concept on its head. All right, next
Literally.
we're giving away a copy of my landscape book. So this book is called The Landscape Photography Book. It's by me. Really awesome. And look at this. Look at this.
And this.
Here is the South Korean translation. We're not giving that away.
Yep.
But you know what's interesting? Generally, when anyone does one of my books get translated to all these different languages, they always put a different cover shot.
Yeah.
But high five to the South Koreans.
Going original.
They're going with the same cover shot
There it is.
as my book. Right?
Yep.
Now, not as happy with the Italians.
They said, nope.
Just got this in today. There's the Italian one, and they decided to use a shot from Iceland. I'm still cool with it. It's still one of my shots. It's not like they stuck somebody else's shot in there, which would have been, Anyway, but I just want to show you
They
this.
went
'cause
crazy on Iceland. They did Iceland on the back, too.
Yeah, Iceland on the back. It's an Iceland fest. What did they put on the back of the other one? Nothing.
Korean.
Some Korean words. I don't have to know what they're. I'm not even sure it's my book. How would I know? Is my name anywhere on it? Well, it came from my publisher in the same box as my name is. Well, maybe my name is in Korean. All right,
We'll figure it out.
we'll figure it out on the break. When we come back,
Yeah, when we come back,
we've got some shout
two other
outs.
things,
We
right?
got two other things that I was told from a friend at Adobe, and hopefully there'll be some eye-opening stuff. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Is the tripod dead? Sure, a tripod works for basic shots, but who wants to be basic? You don't need basic, you need blockbuster. And that's a job for a platypod. The platypod is your go-anywhere, do-anything flat tripod base. Its compact design helps you discover unique angles that you could never reach with a typical tripod. So, whether you're bringing up baby, driving Miss Daisy, or with your beasts of the southern wild, you can capture big-budget footage and stills for a fraction of the time and money. So go ahead, shoot the next Rocky or Birdman. Or on the waterfront, the platypod is equipped to grip uneven surfaces and hang from just about anything. When tripods go low, the platypod goes lower. Its flat base reaches the lowest possible angle, resulting in truly inventive shots that can't be replicated with traditional equipment. And if you feel like adding a dramatic overhead angle, the platypod has you covered. Just strap it or screw it in, and you're ready to go within minutes. The platypod is constructed from aircraft-grade aluminum and titanium. Yeah, the stuff Air Force One is made of. So it's durable enough to travel with you from Chinatown to Casablanca and everywhere in between. If you only take the tripod, the story ends. You wake up the next morning with nothing but basic footage. Or you could take the platypod to a museum, or on an elevator, or strap it to a tree, or hanging on a bench at church, or put it on the ground and get incredible blockbuster footage. Who are we kidding? You should totally take the platypod. The tripod is not dead, but it needs a sidekick. The platypod.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by B&H Photo, the professional source since 1973.
Hey, we're back, Scott, with Erik, and
Yeah, we got people joining us all around the world, right?
Yeah,
So
let's say hi to
we
some
got Todd saying hey to the gang. We got Carl saying hello from Quebec, Canada. We got Cheeky Nando saying hello
Nando.
all the way from Lisbon, Portugal.
beautiful.
Becky G.
Back it up.
Yep.
Beautiful Lisbon,
Yes,
Portugal.
beautiful Lisbon.
He's the ambassador for
Yep.
that town.
Oh yes, if you ever need an ambassador, or if you're going to Lisbon,
He's your man.
That's your man. Becky G saying hi from Arizona. Looking forward to Scott visiting in Phoenix. So
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah,
Be there
Phoenix.
soon.
Yeah, and then Dalton saying hi. We got Mike saying hi from Phoenix as well, and only 8 days until your seminar comes there. Frank saying hi from Philly. Rose saying hi. Deb saying hi. Jocks saying hi. We got Jerry saying hi from Washington State.
Soggy, rainy.
Yep,
it
soggy,
says.
rainy. And then Jeff, all the way from Tarpon Springs, Florida. So we got people joining us all over the U.S., all over the world.
Look at that. Michael says he's got a. I'm from Wisconsin, and yet I never badger Adobe.
Oh, nice.
Wisconsin
nice.
Badgers. The Badgers. All
Yep.
right. So I want to give you a couple of the other things.
Two more things, right?
Yeah. Hey, while I do have your undivided attention, though, my tour is coming to Phoenix and San Diego in just like a couple of, like next week or something, right?
Yep.
Like today's the 5th. Yeah, it's got to be next week.
Yep.
So
it's right before Valentine's Day.
So on the 12th, I'm in San Diego, and I already have a couple hundred photographers signed up. So if you want to come out, jump on it, because when we're full, we're full.
Yeah.
So if you're in the San Diego, Los
Same
Angeles,
thing
or
with
whatever
Phoenix.
area, I'm coming to LA, so don't come from LA. And then we're in Phoenix at the beautiful Sheraton downtown Phoenix. Oh yeah, that's 12th and 13th of February. So next week, come out and see me in the West. And then I'm in Houston and Los Angeles in March. But we'll talk more about that as we get closer.
So what was the second thing that you had?
Okay, the second thing was, let me look at my list here. The second thing was, he told me, he said, look, the second thing is that it's because of Apple.
It's all because of Apple.
The second thing that Apple did was when they did the App Store and people were doing revisions and adding new features to apps in 90 days. Like an app comes out in 90 days.
Yeah, like
they've
version
got
1.1,
6 new
version
features or
1.2,
8 new features and stuff. So he said people were literally, they're like, we got to wait. So the average, so to take you back into time capsule, because we forget all these things. We forget how much Photoshop used to cost. And we forget that you would get new features 18 months to 2 years.
Oh yeah, you used to have to go get these things called discs, right?
You would buy discs,
and you would have to load these discs in your,
Yeah.
and you had to wait for I had to wait for NAB because there's a new version of Final Cut coming out, and then you could go to the store and you could actually buy these discs and you could put them in your computer.
Yep.
And that's how you
and
got it.
it only happened every 18 months at the earliest, or
Yep.
2 years. Now, so you could say to them, well, Adobe, why don't you just release the products, the updates when they're due? There is actually a law about how you report, and it's called a revenue. What was it called? Revenue recognition
Recognition.
rules. So the revenue recognition rules said that Adobe was only allowed, not just Adobe, but companies were only allowed to release updates that were bug fixes. If you released an update that had new features, you had to charge for it. You couldn't just say, hey, everybody, here's some new features on the house, enjoy. Because of the way their company was structured and the way the tax laws are for Adobe and a bunch of other companies like that, because of that revenue recognition rule, they were not legally allowed to give out an update, even if it was ready, even if it was working, even if it was tested, without charging. So this would, by switching to a subscription model, it
That was
does
back in that
away
day.
with that. They could release features when they're ready, which they've been doing nonstop. And the other thing is, people would not have to wait 18 months to 2 years. So again, Apple turned with the iPhone App Store, turned the world upside down in saying that apps aren't $800 and they don't come out
and
every
just the
18 months.
the whole concept of an app store, because now if you think about it, we have not only app stores for our phones, we have app stores for our computers. I mean, when's the last time you actually went to a store and bought those discs or those?
Oh, yeah.
Anything? You,
It's all
you don't do
downloaded,
that,
of course.
Yeah.
So that was the second one, and that really, really made a lot of sense when you go, okay, yeah, because we used to wait so long for updates. I mean, I remember it was a big deal. But the third one also ties into the second one, and this one, and he said, I'm going to read what I wrote because I remember he said this. He said the third thing is Wall Street. He said we only got paid, like Adobe only made money every 18 months to 2 years. Like when there was a big release,
Revisions,
everyone bought the upgrade right away. The people that were going to buy it bought it. And by the way, those upgrades every 18 months to 2 years, you paid for it. You paid as much as 179 or 180 bucks, 140. It just depended. The price went up and down over time.
It was a lot, yeah.
But it was a lot of money you
lot.
paid at the time. And so when you think about that, you waited a long time. You had to pay for it. And he said this, Adobe cannot sustain a business model where we only make money every 18 months. So I remember reading.
Yeah, because they still have to employ
Yeah.
people all 18
You
months.
gotta
They
pay.
still got a cost all 18 months.
And everybody, it was like a new album comes out from a band, right? A
Yep.
band releases a new album. Everybody buys it in the first month. And then it goes down to 200 copies, 300 copies a month. You're not selling anything.
Yep.
I mean, there's a little money to come in, but not the kind that keeps 10,000 people employed. So they had to find a way to where that the money was stable. Wall Street would be happy. There's tremendous amount of pressure on Adobe, of course, to make shareholders happy. They're a public company. People have invested on them in Adobe, and they expect Adobe to keep making more money and more money and more money. Now, at the same time, that's basically impossible with the business model they had. So the things I want to tell you, like I'm looking at this guy's article, and it's well written, and he's not a bad guy. But what I think is a lot of these are he's mad at Adobe. This headline shouldn't read Adobe, this is why photographers are hating on you. It should read Adobe, this is why Adam Marsh and his friends are hating on you. Because a lot of photographers, I think, I don't hear people complaining about Adobe. It's just a small little handful like this guy. But when you read articles like this, you feel like, oh man, everybody's mad at Adobe. Adobe has never in history had more subscribers, is making more money, and doing more than they are today. Adobe's stock price is at their all-time high. If the subscription thing wasn't working and people were leaving left and right, Adobe stock would be in the tank. But it's the opposite. Guys, the $10 a month, it's $10 a month, not just for one product. It's $10 a month for two. And I want to give you a true story.
Well, go ahead. I got something, but go ahead.
Right. I got true story. Just this last week, I'm going to Taco Bell for some Mexican eating. Now, not for me. I'm not a big Taco Bell fan, but my daughter and my niece, they're really into Taco Bell because they're at the age where you're into Taco Bell. At that age, you think Taco Bell's great.
Yeah.
Eric and I were out west last year,
Yeah.
and the only place open was a Taco Bell, and we ate it, and we were like, "There's something wrong with this food.
This is not right.
This is not right. This is
right.
not for adults." But I found something at Taco Bell that is absolutely best thing I've ever had at Taco Bell. It's actually very good.
It's consumable.
No, it's actually good. It's beyond consumable. It is the cheesy gordita crunch. I kid you not, it's the best thing I've ever eaten in Taco Bell in my life.
All right, so you bought some of these, right?
I bought 2 of them.
All right. What else
And
did you buy?
So my daughter and my niece, they're skinny little girls. They're like 110 pounds. They're very small. They don't eat a lot. So my daughter eats a chicken quesadilla, nacho, chips and cheese,
Okay.
and then a drink. I get a drink. My niece gets, I don't know, a chicken something, a Frito burrito. I remember it was a Frito
burrito.
Anyway,
Yeah,
they all got
'cause
some
everyone
different
wants
stuff.
Fritos
Some
in their burrito.
quesadillas, some chips, some side dishes. I don't remember what it was, but the fact of the matter is, there's 3 of us, an adult and 2 kids, 2 teens, teen girls. Teen boys eat a lot. Teen girls, Anyway, she says, "Is your order correct?" I look on the screen. I'm like, "Oh yeah." I look at, yeah, that's right. She goes, "Okay, that's $42.60. Pull around." I looked at my daughter and went, "We just spent $42 at Taco Bell drive-thru? $42?" Oh my gosh, I guess that's what, but that's 4.5 months of the subscription. Just skip Taco Bell twice a year.
But let's get
maybe 3 times.
So
you paid for it.
it's 4.5 months to the subscription to the number one software for photographers to manage their assets and for post-processing of your photos. I mean, we're talking Photoshop and Lightroom. They're the best products. I mean, that's the thing is we'll get into this like where people will say, well, what about this software? What about this software?
I can use Infinity. I can use this.
And it's like, yes, you can,
yeah.
but it's still not better.
No,
it's not
as good.
Better.
It kind of looks like it. It's got a lot of the features, but it's not as good. Look, Photoshop is a professional piece of software used by people who make their living in design, in video, and in photography. If you want to use the same software that professionals make their living on, and you're an amateur, yay, Adobe makes it available to everybody. It's $10
For
a
$10
month.
a month.
If you go to Taco Bell for lunch today with your niece and your daughter, you're going to spend 4.5 months of using professional. If you just go every 4 months to Taco Bell one time and you go, you know what, it's Taco Bell, maybe I'll skip it. You will pay for your entire, I don't think people realize how inexpensive. You're paying $5 for Photoshop and $5 for Lightroom. This is professional class software. And you know what? There are alternatives. You can get Affinity. Is it as good as Photoshop?
No, but you can get it. And if you can't afford
if you can't afford
$10 a
professional
month,
software,
there are definitely alternatives out there that do the perpetual licensing, where it's like I buy it once and I get the license.
However, and I'm going to read Todd's comment here, and then we're going to take a short break. But Todd is writing what I'm going to say. If you don't like subscription models, your life is going to get worse and worse and worse because everybody is moving to a subscription model for the same reasons that Adobe did.
Has moved, and I'll talk about that too when we get back.
Also, Capture One. Capture One, everybody was like, well, I can buy Capture One, but then Capture One added a subscription model.
When we get back, I want to break that down.
Let's break that down when we come back because...
it's very interesting if you really look at it.
All these things are interesting, and we're going to cover that in just a moment.
Howdy folks, Moose Peterson here, and welcome to Nellis Air Force Base for Aviation Nation Air Show. This is just an amazing place to sit there and take photographs. So we're taking you there on a new class. Now, we're going to talk about everything from photographing jets, doing formations, working with gear, dealing with the heat, dealing with taking care of yourself, but more importantly, how to arrange the elements in that viewfinder. So when you've got the jets, you've got the helicopters, you have the great sneak attacks, you have the smoke, you have all those elements that make the air show exciting, fun, are just all going to be crammed in this class and a lot more. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about just, a lens and pointing it somewhere. We're going to talk about very specific things like you're sitting there shooting aperture priority to get the jet, but then you want to get that quick shot of the helo, you need to slow down the shutter speed. How do you do that? Grab your big lens, clean the sensor, charge the batteries, put on the sunblock, don your sling bag. This is all going to happen for you at kelby1.com.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Canon.
Hey, we're back. Scott and Eric here. Moose's class is doing really well, huh?
Yeah. People loving the aviation. We're just getting back into the season, probably starting in a couple weeks. So,
Sweet.
yeah.
I love shooting air shows. They're a blast.
Oh, yeah. Air shows are great.
And and Moose really takes you through everything. I mean, I think you saw it in the... I love that trailer. Who did that trailer? Who edited it? The Moose's... Mike,
Oh,
nice
Mike,
job.
Nice.
Was Jason?
Nice.
Nope, it was
Mike
Jason.
or Jason, whatever.
Jason, the digital old guy. Oh, no, the digital grandpa. That's his...
Yeah, Mike couldn't because he was too excited about his Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl.
Oh, congratulations on your Chiefs win. As long as it's not the Patriots, America wins.
Yeah, America wins.
Okay, so Eric
we're-
wanted to break down I still have the third... Well, I don't think I did the third point.
You did the third point.
All right,
and this builds off of your third point.
Go ahead.
And basically,
pricing.
when you get down to the pricing, right? So we know that probably if we're going to say Lightroom is the product we're using, what is the real alternative to Lightroom? Like the only one that maybe could be an alternative.
Capture One, I think,
Yeah, would be like the maybe alternative. Yeah. And there's other programs that you could consider alternatives
Luminar,
as well. But if you're going to put it on like the same playing field, that's where Capture One's where people go. Now, you still got to find a Photoshop alternative. So there's going to be another thing. So when you think about the pricing, think about that. This is just a Lightroom alternative. All right.
So in Eric's world, you're leaving Lightroom and you're going to go over to Capture One.
Yeah. So here's Capture One, right? So if you look at the website, you got Capture One. So they do have an option for a perpetual license or subscription, like we were talking about.
Yeah.
And they're doing the same thing Adobe's doing. If you really break it down and read in between the lines, it's just the only difference is they're offering the perpetual licensing. But if you start dissecting the pricing, you see that they're basically just amortizing, or like we talked about, like with the revenue recognition, they're just looking at it over time, what it would cost for you to kind of have software in those 2-year cycles.
Right.
So you remember the 2-year cycles or 18-month cycles? So if we're looking at this perpetual licensing here, right, it is $299.
$300.
So $300, right? If we go over here to the subscription, what's the difference between the perpetual licensing, if you look at it, is this one where it says free service releases, and this one is future releases included because you're subscribing to it.
Right.
So over here on the subscription side,
so you only get bug fixes if you buy the $300 one.
So it is paid monthly. The annual price is $20 a month.
So $240 a year.
$240 a year. Or I can actually prepay the annual for $180.
Ooh, now that's better.
So, well, but look at that. So if you prepay an annual, it's $180. If you buy it outright, it's $300. So basically what they're doing is they're just making you purchase up front with that $299 one, like 2 years of service. It's just all they're doing is just allowing you.
Yeah, but Eric, you own the software.
Well, you do own it, but
it's outdated.
But you're going to own outdated, out-featured, not top of the line, not bug fixed, which is fine. Again, you could own the software, but you got to think, and where in life do you want to like own the old, outdated, not updated thing?
Now, what do they charge you? What do they just came out with an upgrade for Capture. So you paid the $300. How much was the upgrade? $150. So in the course of 12 months, you could spend
they're just adding every year.
$450.
It's the same thing. I mean, Capture One actually is more. Capture One is more expensive than Lightroom because you don't get Photoshop.
You still need Photoshop.
You don't get Photoshop.
Right. But anyway, we'll bring it back to Adobe.
Okay.
But the reason why I wanted to say why I brought up Capture One in the first place is this: Adobe started with selling you the software. Then they added a subscription option. Lightroom 6, you could buy it, or Lightroom subscribe. After a while, Adobe didn't want to make two different versions of the software. Most people, the vast majority of people, were buying their subscription, so that one went away.
Because it's more easy. It's easier to say $10 a month.
Let's look at Eric's thing. If you buy it for $180 and you're subscribing, right? And you're going to get that $150 update for free.
Yep.
How many people going to Capture One are going to choose subscription over? It's going to be, I'm going to guess, 80% subscription, 20% buy.
Eventually, yes. I think.
Well, no, but right now I can use that.
people,
I can use that software today for $180, or I can use that software for $300.
Well, I would actually say, I would argue right here, $20. That's
Okay,
going to be the one.
$20.
That's the
Right.
one people are going to be like, look at, I
So-
only got to pay $20, and I always keep it updated.
I am just guessing, but this is so. Remember, Adobe had Lightroom 6, and then you could subscribe, and then Lightroom 6 went away, and you can only subscribe. If I were a betting man, I would bet you that Capture One, within a year or so, is going to drop the perpetual, and you just subscribe. Why? Is it because Capture One's? Here's what I'll just read this. Here we go. Here's why Capture One is going to do that. Capture One is going to do that. The biggest reason why Capture One has gone to a subscription pricing is to milk the customer for every last dollar over. Here, let's,
So what you're saying is in a couple of years, we'll just replace Adobe with Capture
here, we'll
One.
just write in here. Let's do it now. So everyone knows.
Yep.
There it is.
That's why Capture One's
The
going to
biggest
subscription.
reason why Capture One has gone to a subscription pricing is to milk the customer for every last dollar over the long term. It's either that or it's because they can't sustain a business model where people only buy every year. Anyway, but do you see where we're going with this?
Yes.
Everybody's going to move to the subscription model because people are able to get in at a lower price. Guys, it used to cost $1,200 to buy the stripped Creative Suite. If you wanted to start a design business, listen, if you wanted to start a design business, it was $1,200 was the entry fee just for that. If you want to start a photography business, you had to have Photoshop and Lightroom. You could just get away with Photoshop. It was $800. How much is it today? $10. You want to go into the photography business and you've got a camera and you need to do your post-processing, the bar of entry is $10. You're getting Photoshop and Lightroom for $10. And people are whining about it. And this guy's writing about it like like they're evil. The stuff that he says about, I'm just like, why are you so mad at Adobe?
Well,
There was this one thing. Hold on, let me get to what he was writing about it. Because he was really, here, I'm going to read you what he says. This is where the rubber meets the road. The subscription model is chaos. You can't bury your head in the sand and say you have no idea why people are angry at the subscription model. When you have a doubling of the monthly subscription with very little one. Okay, Adobe did not double. See, they did not double. You can still get it for $10 a month all day long. Adobe did a test. They did a test where they said, how would people react to raising the price? I can tell you.
And guess what? That test lasted no time.
That test was gone in a split second. They reacted very poorly to it, and so Adobe left the price at $10. It is, look, there is nothing that you can buy.
Not Capture One. They went to 20. Just saying. Sorry.
Anyway, I didn't get to read the comment from keep going. It was up there a minute ago. Keep going. Where did it go? I think his name was Tim. I just saw it. Keep going. It's gone. Where did it go? I said I mentioned I was going to read his comment, and then I didn't get to read it. Maybe up higher. It's gone. I wanted to read his comment. Was this? Keep going up. Maybe it's up. Oh crud! It's gone. Anyway, but
Do you remember around what it was about?
it was basically saying the same thing that I was saying. Was there are companies and they offer their products by subscription. And they make money by doing that. That doesn't make them evil because they
No.
offer a subscription.
No.
You don't have to. Lightroom and Photoshop are not a requirement. You don't have to use them. They're saying, look, if you want to use our stuff, we're going to make it dirt cheap, but it's a subscription. Do you want it? You can just say no and go away. It doesn't make it, like this guy's writing how angry everyone is, and effectively they're it's just anyway.
Well, so kind of rewinding. Oh. Did you? Or,
So Terry White, hi Terry, says the thing that most of these articles never mention is the subscription model lowered the cost of entry to people who could never pay $700 or $1,000 or $2,600 all at once. There are people who actually said, I can now afford my software and I no longer have to pirate it.
Yes, it's a big one because
Yeah.
I knew a bunch of people.
I knew people that pirated
Yeah,
it too. They were stealing
yeah.
software.
Yeah, all the time. So I mean, when you get into this, it is interesting because I don't think a lot of people understand that too. With some of the software companies that are coming out nowadays that are doing these, I'll call it low cost alternatives. They're still not Photoshop. They're still not Lightroom, but they're alternatives. Like we said at the beginning of the show, they're good. You could use them. They'd be okay. But when you get down to it, I had a conversation with an app developer that developed a kick butt app. Has a great app, great user base, all that stuff. He said, you know what? The only thing, if I could go back, I wouldn't have made it one price, because we cannot innovate fast enough because we have people that love our product, but we don't have revenue to create the new features. You see what I'm saying? Like, so while and the user base, I bet, because they're passionate about the app, would pay a little more to keep it revision.
Yeah.
But when they started out, and a lot of these apps do that nowadays, they start out and they're $50 a one-time fee, and then you'll get it, but they don't innovate once they get going, because they'll get to like a cap. And that's what's happening with like this one developer I know. It's capped to where he's like, I got to come up with a way to get people that love the product to give me more money. Well, that's exactly what Adobe did. They found a way to get people who are passionate, who love the product, to still pay some revenue so they can keep on developing the software, keep on making it better,
keep their
keep
business
on
model
revisions.
alive. Hey, there's some comments here. Cheeky Nando says the only people who say that are those who don't remember the price of software 20 years ago. It's true.
It's true.
It's true.
Oh, I remember starting out. There was a product we used to use. We did a lot of rotoscoping and stuff, and it was a product called Apple Shake. Apple had bought, it was $5,000 for this software to just rotoscope out for effects.
Yeah.
And like you could never.
video.
How are you gonna afford? You had to be with a studio that had big budgets and all that stuff. Now that same product, the same technology, ended up being in Motion, which eventually I think was $99.
Oh my God.
So it's just crazy.
Hey,
Crazy.
wasn't it Frank Duerhoff who was talking about how he pays a subscription for his accounting software that is more than his Adobe subscription?
Yeah.
And he's like, my accounting software is not fun. It's not awesome. It's not cool. Hey, Jock says, what
sucks.
happens? Jock has a really good question. What happens if you quit the subscription? For like previous and future edits. So interesting thing, Jock. This is really a weird thing. It's a good thing. So if you have Lightroom and you cancel your subscription, you say, I'm not going to pay anymore. That's it. I'm done. Do you know that all it does is turn off your develop module?
Yeah.
All your images
That's all
are
it
still
does.
there. You can still print. You can do slideshows. You can export photos. You can save JPEGs. You can rearrange your images. You can do everything in all of Lightroom except the develop module. That's it. It just disables the develop module. Adobe wanted to make people realize that, hey, look, if you spend the time to put all this in there, and
Yeah, we're not
let's
just
say you
gonna
have to take
take
6
it
months
away.
off or you need to stop, all your stuff still stays there. It still works. It's just, if you want to edit new photos, you'll have to use something else. But
What about with Photoshop?
with Photoshop doesn't have an archive, so
Yep.
you can't act. You launch it, and it says, "Hey,
you need
to
a
subscribe."
subscription.
But you don't
Yeah.
have an archive of stuff that you just lost. Hey, let's.
Of course, you can
let's
use a
look
reader
at
to
Dave
open
Williams'
up.
comment here because we
Yep.
love Dave Williams.
Yeah. Dave's saying if there's a competitor, it's Affinity. They're decent, but Adobe is industry standard and it works. Adobe keeps up with the changing tech, changing practices, and people that are brilliant at what they do. Just look at Mr. Terry White.
There you go.
Yeah, so-
But and Dave's right. So there are other things that you can use, and you're welcome to use them. It doesn't hurt Eric and I. We don't get money
that's
from
what
Adobe.
we were talking about that last. Like,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's
may not be for you.
it's very interesting this topic because I have noticed with people that go to other softwares, it kind of reminds me of my friends who bought Android phones. I've had an iPhone since the beginning, right? I've loved iPhone and all that stuff, but I never go around preaching it. I never go around telling what features I have that another phone doesn't have. But I can tell you how many times I've been told by my Android friends the feature that their phone has, the reason why theirs is better, the reason why theirs has this new feature, and why
defensive.
you should just. I don't even understand why, and it's like that with software too. Like when somebody's like, "Oh, I can't believe you still use Lightroom. I've been using Capture One. It's so superior." Or you get into cameras, it's the same thing. You should be using this thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there's something about it where I don't know why we have to it's like we have to justify our purchase or justify our choices.
Nobody wants to feel like they bought the wrong one.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody wants to feel like I bought the wrong software, I bought the wrong what. Hey, we got a couple more questions here, and
Yep.
I want to get a couple of them. We're going to have to take a quick one. Jerry says, when it gets down to it, each of us has to ask the question.
Ask the question.
When it gets down to it, each of us has to ask the question, does the app give me the tools I need to produce the images at the highest quality I expect? If the answer is yes, then it's the right app for you. It doesn't mean other apps aren't as good, they just aren't right for you. Good point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seb.
Yeah, so Seb's saying I don't have an issue with the subscription model. I have an issue with the fact that you can't work on existing photos if you stop. You should be stuck with no updates and just pay a penalty once you restart your subscription. But he wants it to be kept fully functional in his opinion.
You keep 80% of the functionality, but no one's going to let you have 100% of the, because everybody would subscribe and then unsubscribe immediately and keep the full functionality. That's ridiculous. No one's going to do that. That's not going to happen. But Adobe gives you 80% of it. But they're not going to let you use the software for free. You kind of got to understand that, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can use Apple Photos. I mean, if you really want, it's free with your computer.
Well, but
If you
Eric makes a
want.
great point. You don't have to use Premiere Pro. You can use the iMovie that comes with your
iMovie.
computer. You don't have to buy Photoshop or Lightroom. You can use Apple Photos. I want to make this really clear. Photoshop has been and always has been a professional piece of software designed for professionals. If you want to use it, it's $5. Lightroom, $5. Photoshop, $5. It's $10. If you look at it and go, I can't afford $120 a year, no problem. We understand. You might be on a fixed income. You're between jobs. Who knows what it is? You just don't have the $120 to spend. Stay away from Taco Bell. Just a heads up. Anyway, or Starbucks. But out of that, there are other things you can use. They're just not going to be as good. Affinity Photo for $50. It is not a bad program. It looks like Photoshop. It's not Photoshop. It is not nearly as good. And if you want to work with software,
they made it look like it, though. Made it look like it.
It looks like a Chinese knockoff of Photoshop. You know,
it's the Yongnuo.
It's the Yongnuo of software. It's not bad. It's just not Photoshop. But if you want to use the real thing, it's $10. Gary, read Gary's comment.
Yeah, so Gary's saying Photoshop and Lightroom subscriptions are cheap.
Absolutely.
Learning to use them has cost me a lot more.
Yep.
Well, and that's like anything with photography, right?
Yeah. El Turkey Boy says, boy, this is a really good one, too. This is a good comment. Hate is a product of ignorance. Mm. If you're informed, you comprehend. Adobe haters more than likely don't use it enough as they're designed and what their capabilities are.
I mean, that's bottom line right there.
It's the first sentence. The hate is a thing of ignorance.
Product of ignorance.
Steven has a really good comment. He says they're in business to make money, and they do that by having the best products on subscription. The Photoshop team tries to wow us. Yep. Believe me, there is nothing that Adobe loves more. And by the way, it's Terry White that like at their big keynote, they have a giant conference in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. Terry White is the guy that for the last few years gets to go up there and show the new features. There's nothing that the Photoshop team wants than to hear the crowd cheer. When Terry gets up there and does it, and Terry is such a Terry is such a great presenter. He does draw the gasps and the all. Now, granted, Terry is one of the best presenters you'll ever see. I don't know if you know Terry, but if you get to watch one of his presentations, he's funny. He connects with the audience.
Tons of classes on Kelby
smart.
1.
He's got tons of classes on Kelby 1. But but you can't take crappy software and make it awesome. When Terry stands on that stage, he knows I'm about to show you some amazing stuff. If Adobe was really this bad company that all these photographers hate, they would just go, what's the minimum we can get by with? But that's never the discussions. I've been at so many discussions. The discussions are, what is going to blow everybody away? What can we do next that would make people freak out? How about that new tool they just created? The not content aware, the one that selects the
Select subject.
no,
That one's awesome.
No, hang on a second. I always forget the name of it.
There's tons of things.
It is the where did it go? The object selection tool.
Oh yes.
That thing is a miracle.
Blow
You're
your
not
mind.
going to find that in any of the knockoffs, not in Affinity, not in. They
Might
are
try.
pushing the limits of what you can do. Now,
Yep.
later, they'll eventually
Yeah, they'll
copy
try
it
it.
3 years down the road or whatever. But Adobe is leading the way in innovation. They have the stuff before anybody. It works the best. It's the that
Well,
tool
I would
is
even
a
say
miracle.
if you can't afford Photoshop and you're like, and I really want to do this professionally, I don't know why people don't focus on Elements then or buying Elements.
If you really
I
need
mean,
to own something,
Elements-
Elements is a great product.
Great product.
I have a
right?
brand new book on it too.
But I mean, it really is. I mean, for what it is, it's better than a lot of these programs that are out there that people are saying are alternatives.
Yeah, it is. Oh, there's Stefan. Hey, Stefan from Australia. He says, want the best lens? It costs. Best body? Yikes. Best software? Hold on, $10. That's it? It's the cheapest part of your photography adventure. Stefan
Amen.
for the win. How you doing,
Amen.
buddy? Stefan for the win.
Yep.
Man, is that on the money.
Yep, that's it. We'll spend $5,000 on our body and our
Ah,
lens.
I
but
draw the line, at $10 a month. That's where I draw the
No,
line.
I want that $50 piece
But
of
I
software.
will go get a cheesy gordita crunch. By the way, I really trashed Taco Bell today. Go try the cheesy gordita crunch. It will change your mind about Taco Bell.
Taco Bell, sponsored by the Grid.
That's our sponsor, our brand new sponsor, The Bell. All right. When we come back, we're going to find out who won all of our goodies. We got an amp. We got Ultra Dolls. It's all
All that
coming
good
up.
stuff.
All that good stuff. On The Grid, where haters are not welcome.
Haters gonna hate.
But Juan's still here.
What if I told you there's a workflow out there that was so dead simple that it fully automated everything down to just the need to press one button? All of your images will be in exactly where they're supposed to be without you thinking about any of it. That's the workflow that I designed in this course. I'm going to be going over exactly how to fully automate the entire workflow, and once this is done, you never have to think about it again. It's going to know exactly where to put your images, exactly what hard drives and what folder structures, exactly how to find your images, and then we're going to take it a step further to show you a workflow where we can completely ditch your laptop, ditch your hard drives. You could be halfway across the world, and with your phone or an iPad that I have here in front of me, have your images, the full resolution files, be backed up to your desktop drives at home. It's one system, it's dead simple. That's what I'm going to cover in this class. It's going to be a wild ride. Come check it out here at kelby1.com.
Hi, I'm Ibadi NX Perella, and I'm here in downtown Los Angeles. Have you ever been out on a busy street scene and you get out there and there's so much going on, you just don't know where to start? You get really frustrated, you make some snapshots, but they're so lackluster. Well, what I'm going to teach you are the very secrets that I use all the time to make great photographs from some of the most ordinary scenes imaginable. You'll learn in this class how, by just carefully observing and watching things sort of play out in front of you, visual miracles can happen just as a result of you just staying in place and seeing life play out in front of you. And this class is for more than just people interested in street photography. This is a way of how you see the world. So come check out my class and learn something brand new.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Platypod, the world's most compact tripod base.
Make sure you don't miss any episodes of The Grid by subscribing to Apple's podcast app or iTunes. It's free, and we even have a special audio-only version, too. So sign up today.
Hey, we're back. Sorry, we're having a little discussion here on set. Hey, so can we go to my screen real quick? This is what we've been talking about, the Cheesy Gordita Crunch. Now, up here, it says nutrition info. And Taco Bell knows well enough not to connect that to anything. If you click it, it doesn't go anywhere. And no one's ever clicked it.
That was smart.
No one's ever clicked it because you really don't want to know. But so here's part of the reason why my order was $40-something. Look, it's $3.59 if you get 2 of them. If you get 2 of them, you've got a month of the.
So wait a minute. So this is crazy. You can order it online and have it delivered to you or pick it up.
Yeah.
Wow.
So here's what we were talking about on the break.
It's a different world.
We were talking about doing an episode of The Grid from the Taco Bell in Tarpon Springs, Florida. Christina's pretty sure she can make it happen. And what we would do is everybody that came, we would buy you a Cheesy Gordita Crunch.
Yeah, we're thinking outside the box.
We're thinking outside the box. We're making a run.
Taco Bell.
For the Taco Bell
official sponsor of the
US
Grid.
19. Anyway, we'll talk about that on the break. But we need to get some winners for our giveaways. Now, if you wrote the word guitar and you left a comment, then you're entered to win this jam box. Otherwise, you're going to
you're going to get one of these other
platypod.
And you're not going to get this Korean copy.
You're not going to get the Korean copy. You're not going to get the Italiano. But you're going to get a Cheesy Gordita Crunch. Delivered to you. No, you're not even getting that. But let me tell you what. So it's a soft taco, like a gordita shell. Then there's cheese in it. Then there's a hard taco, and then there's all kinds of taco stuff inside. It's really quite a delight. Well, there it is. It's seasoned beef, lettuce, cheese, a 3-cheese blend, and spicy ranch. It's not just regular ranch, folks. It's spicy. So you're probably going to want to check that out because I don't like anything at Taco Bell, but I'm telling you what, that thing is like, I got to tell you, this is pretty good. All right, how are we doing on winners there? We got a couple of winners. We're working on it. Remember, if you want to win the amp, you had to use the word guitar, so we're not sending out this to someone who has no guitar. But this is a bad boy right here. This little thing, it is sweet. It's like little sweet.
There it is.
I love Little Sweet. I wish Little Sweet would be on the show. Like she could show up right here. Little Sweet.
Yep. Justin Guarini.
That's right. Look at that nice tight shot of that jam box. Oh, yeah.
And look at output and input level are turned up already.
Yeah, I already have it cranked up for you.
Yeah.
It gets surprisingly loud for a little box. You know, but it's the software, the Jambox software that you can just download. It's really very cool. And it's got a headphone jack so you can listen, but
how much does it cost a month?
It doesn't cost anything. It's perpetual license on this, on the Jambox box. You know what else you could do is you could run the amp off your phone. You could get amplitude.
Cool.
Plug your phone into this. Plug your guitar into that.
And then there you go.
But this is actually powered off USB. And the cable's on the floor, but you get that too. It's kind of a little dirty now.
And
so we'll clean it up before we send it to you.
We're going to have somebody winning a prize soon.
Yep, we're waiting for that prize. Wait for that prize, Rooney.
Or
hey, can we go back to my screen again?
Cheesy Gordita Crunch.
Cheesy Gordita. You know, it's
the official
snack.
Gordita.
The official Gordita of
the Grid.
The Cheesy Gordita Crunch. We should start each show with a picture of the Cheesy Gordita Crunch.
I mean, it's, you know what? It's a soft taco with cheese with a hard taco with the taco inside.
But it's not just the soft, because if you ask for a soft taco, it's
so
a different.
It's not really a soft taco.
It is the Gordita, which
it's
is
like
a soft shell.
It's kind of like a pita consistency.
It's like a pita. I would say it's like a pita. So picture like a thin pita, then a layer of amazing 3-cheese blend, then a hard taco.
And then some spicy ranch.
We've gotten just a little off topic.
And then some spicy ranch on top.
And that spicy ranch just kicks it up a notch.
Now, you can customize your order, too.
Yeah, you can. You don't have to have the spicy ranch.
You can have it your way.
That's
wait,
Burger
that's
King,
not
bro.
that's not Taco Bell.
You could have it with extra spicy ranch, which adds 30 cents to the price. Ooh, extra spicy ranch. We're kicking that thing up.
Yeah, maybe throw
Now
some
we're at
throw some
$3.89.
steak in there. How much we at if we throw some steak in there down there?
Well, if you go to, that's 90 cents more.
Yeah,
Now we're at
$4, almost $5.
We're talking a month of flavor.
what's the most expensive we can get this cheesy gordita?
You can add.
Can we add any more cheese?
No, let me see. Is there anything here? Extra lettuce adds 40 cents. Extra cheese adds another 45. 3 cheese blend.
Yeah, throw it up
extra. You got yourself a $6 gordita.
That's
crunch.
a $6 gordita right there.
All right,
with 680 calories.
Yeah,
customized.
Do not click on this.
Customized.
It looks like it wants to go, but don't click on it because you'll be sorry.
You better favorite that. You must be logged.
Oh, you must be logged in and have a.
You're telling me you don't have a premium subscription to Taco Bell?
I do not. It's sad. I don't. It's very, very sad. Very, very sad. We're stalling. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I'm loving it. Oh wait, that's
Yum Brands, sponsored by Yum Brands. That's who owns Taco Bell, right? Yum. All right. Diana McAllister, Purdue, you have won the book. You have won the landscape photography book. If you're not Diana McAllister, Purdue, you can go buy one of these at Amazon. It's cheap. It's so how cheap is it?
And if you're in Korea, you can buy this version.
Yeah, it's now available in Korea. Hold on, let's find out what the man. I just bit my tongue. That hurts. Landscape book, $18 in paperback, $17 in Kindle. Should be cheaper in Kindle.
And how much is the hard copy?
Prices. $18.
The hard copy.
Hard copy is $18.
There you go.
All the money you spend on your gear, $18 to get like amazing landscape photos. All right, Marina Gonzalez, you just won the Platypod Ultra. It's gonna change your life. And
somebody won the amp.
Not a cheesy. Joe says, I want the amp. Joe H, congratulations. You have picked up a Jam Vox. Jam. Vox. You have to download the software, but you've got the amp and the plug to plug it in. We're going to be sending it to you. I want you to play many great songs on it. No Justin Bieber, okay? No Biebs.
And if you're in Italy.
Yeah, if you're in Italy.
This book.
Fotografi the other word.
Yep.
All right.
There we go.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thanks to our crew here. Christina on the moderation. Juan working that jib like it's butter. Mike just kind of standing there.
Kansas
Not
City.
sure what he does.
He's Chief Nation.
Jason, looking for love in all the wrong places. Going low with Jason. All right. Wait, before we go, hold on. Wait, before we go, who we following? Digital Surgeon on Instagram. Throw it up. Where's the Digital Surgeon?
I think he changed his name. It's just Grandpa
Is it just
now.
No, it's the Digital Grandpa.
Digital Grandpa.
Where's his Instagram page? How about Juan's? Eric's? Anybody? What's going on in the control room today? All right, there we go. The Digital Surgeon.
The Digital Surgeon.
The Digital Surgeon. That's right. He's digital. And there's Wani _ Juan Alfonso. There you go. And Erik Kuna is simply just Erik Kuna. Me, I'm Scott Kelby.
Yeah.
That's me. Woo.
Oh, that's your other one.
No, that's my other one. That's Scott Kelby photo. No,
if you go to Scott, that's if you wanted the fashion stuff.
Yeah, just go to Scott Kelby's. More like it.
Is the travel stuff.
Yeah, that's the travel stuff. That's the one that I actually stay up on top of. The other one I thought I should do that. And I just have. There we go.
Yeah.
Top one. Right there. Top one. There you go. Clicky. There you go.
Yeah.
There you
That's
go.
the one.
There you go. There
That's
you go.
the one.
3 loves there. There you go. 3 hearts. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you next week. Congratulations to all people that won stuff. Thanks to our sponsors and our crew. Thanks to Taco Bell and Yum Brands.
Yep. And make sure to think outside the box.
Think outside the box.
Ding.
Let's make a run For the
the
Taco
border.
Bell on US 19.
Yep.
Don't say the border. It's not right.
Yeah.
All right. Look at that jib work.
Yo
It's like
quiero.
butter. Look at that.